Good evening, vinyl community. It's Mark Basshead 4 here on the Dr. Rhythm channel. Back after a bit of a break. Just making a short video, kind of inspired actually by just seeing Big Star 1000's 3 years in YouTube video, and just really wanted to give a shout out to him as somebody who is consistently posting great videos and turning me on to some fantastic new music. So thank you, Fred. And actually, an album that I bought recently because of you was this one, which is the Stanley Davis Ghetto Mysticism, the album Brighter Days, Reissue. The other side. Great. The theme of my post is music that kind of confounds labels and is just mixing up genres, which is kind of the kind of music I really like. So Stanley Davis, flugelhorn, horn player. This album, I think from 1975, channeling all kinds of music, clearly influenced by Electric Miles period, but also really sounding like some of the kind of mid-70s Donald Byrd stuff, some sort of spiritual jazz stuff, elements of very early disco, kind of the sort of tunes I'd imagine that would be played at the Loft, David Mancuso's club in New York. Just sonically really interesting, very kind of thick stew of groove. The bass player often using a phaser. Some great vocals, some great solos, some fantastic drums and beats, great arrangements, just moving and grooving. Great album. I'd never heard of this album, so I'd highly recommend it to other people in the VC who don't have it. And it wasn't very pricey, but it's a lovely thick cardboard 180 gram reissue. Very nice. Yeah, well, this, talking of mixing up the genres, this, what we're listening to here, The Fish Police, the album The Marzipan Transformations. Beautiful cover, piece of art here. I have to admit a connection here. The Fish Police are a band that are produced by the company that I work for in London, Heart and Soul. 3-piece from Southeast London, mixing electronic music, beats, pop music, kind of rap, half spoken, half sung. Some lovely singing from Charles Stewart on the bass. Currently touring with Grace Jones, Dean Rodney, the rapper frontman, and Matthew Howe on the guitar. I'll put a link to this. It's just very, very fresh. This is a vinyl, just come out. There's only 300 copies, so have a listen and yeah, get in the queue. Okay, another album, again, sort of defying genres really. And this I think is from Finland. Hijazi, Hjaltalin. Nice cover. Gatefold. Nice inner sleeve. Yeah, again, hard to categorize this. It has some really nice strings, has some great songs. The kind of vocals seem to be handled by a male and female vocalist. Some electronic feels, some kind of drum and bassy beats. Yeah, very, very hard to categorize, which is great, but absolutely worth listening to. Very original. I think there's a bit of a backstory that the lead singer sort of had some mental health issues, and this album kind of got him out of his down period, but really nice. Lots to listen to, intelligent stuff. Yeah, definitely worth checking it out. Hjaltalin. Okay. Aha. Janelle Monae, her second album. The Electric Lady. Another, actually this is a beautiful vinyl release. It's all on black and white vinyl. Look at that. So many of you will know who Janelle Monae is. She seems to have a lot of supporters in the USA, and obviously a pretty sizable budget to put this album out. Double album, all kinds of guests. Prince is on here, Erykah Badu, Miguel, Esperanza Spalding. And similarly with her last album, it's a kind of concept with a number of suites. In fact, this is suites 4 and 5 over the 2 albums, so presumably the first 3 suites must have been in the first album. Again, a real mixed bag of music. Some really nice lush orchestration. Some great guest spots, some great tunes. Strange enough, if I'm honest, I think the weakest thing is actually her singing. But some great tunes. Particularly, I think for me, the Suite 5, the sides C and D on the album, I particularly like, and I also like the track that Erykah Badu is on, Queen. But yeah, always worth checking her out. She's definitely a very thoughtful, conceptual, contemporary musician, and very different from a lot of the other sort of R&B artists out there. Definitely doing her own thing, and clearly being bankrolled well enough for her to be able to do it. Okay. Another fresh album just come out the last couple of months, Quez. This is out on Warp Records. A double vinyl. It's not a gatefold. I guess what makes this guy, he sounds a lot of kind of spoken, half sung lyrics, a lot of electronic stuff. Somewhere reminding me of the kind of tricky Massive Attack, Ghost Poet, maybe even a bit of Fortet in terms of some of the backing, but interesting music, just quite different, and a very original production. Kind of quite big and bassy, but also kind of quite ambient as well. Not a lot of beats. Definitely a very UK sound. So that's Quez, ILP, out on Warp. Check it out. And lastly, this album, well, in fact, an EP, Hello Skinny. The EP is called Revolutions. It features Shabaka Hutchins, who is a fantastic UK musician on clarinet and sax, and Tom Skinner on drums. And it's basically a couple of tracks, Revolutions Part 1, Revolutions Part 2, and then 3 remixes on the B-side, which are all kind of quite electronic. Again, this album's definitely, or this EP I should say, is definitely part of a particular scene that's happening in the UK at the moment, and it's interesting and it's different, and it doesn't sound like stuff that's coming out of the US. So again, people who are into the more experimental side of town, check it out. Hello Skinny, it's on the Slowfoot label. So yeah, that was just a quick one really, just to say that John and I are going to be getting together this Saturday. We'll be definitely putting up at least one major video, maybe even a couple. Very much looking forward to getting together and sharing what we've both been listening to over the last couple of months. So love to everybody. Keep the VC alive. I'm with everybody who's struggling with Google Plus at the moment. It's very confusing. So again, apologies if I don't return comments that are posted on this. But see you all very soon. Cheers.